Okay, so yeah, so I was in my backyard, and like I said, I saw things in a purple hue, and I absolutely can see in detail everything in my backyard. I'm talking about it's pitch black. I couldn't see my hands if I was out there, and I'm dark. So um we had these hold on, okay. So I was having that experience. So I was sitting in my car, and now I'm kind of freaking out because I'm seeing a purple hue and I could see everything. And then I said, well, let me get out my car. So I got out the car and I started to walk, back into the backyard. And I start looking at the grass and I saw like crystals on the grass. Like, I mean, literally crystals, not like big crystals. I'm talking about like the grass had crystals all over it. And I began to see spirals all over the grass in everything. And then when I look up from there, when I looked up from looking at the grass and wonder, meaning like I'm like, wow, this is crazy. And I looked up, and right before my face was like a grid. Like, I mean, it was the reality, but it was the sky and everything. Like right in front of me, I saw like a grid, everything like the backdrop of the reality. I call it a grid, but nevertheless, it's hard to explain. But within the grid, it looked like a blanket to me. So if you ever had a blanket on a bed or a spread or anything like that to make your bed up with, what you're gonna see there is you're going to see what you're gonna see is what we call buttons on the blanket at certain points. And where those buttons were on that blanket was spirals. Okay. So that was really weird to me that I was having that experience that I'm actually seeing spirals. And then I started to see all kinds of geometric shapes everywhere, like in the fabric of things. And I went back to the car, and my neighbor came out his house. And when he came out, I looked at him. I heard him. He called me. And when I was looking at him, he was walking towards me, and he was nothing but light. Like I couldn't see nothing. He was made like his face, nothing, his body, none of that. He was just light. And he was like, "Hey man, what's going on?" And I'm trying to play it off. I'm in my car. At this point, I looked over. I'm like, "Oh my God, this is so crazy." So I'm like, I'm cool, man. I'm just listening to some music, whatever, whatever. So he was like, get with me later, man. I ain't gonna interrupt you. And he went about his business. And I went back into meditation because I heard the voice within me say, "Hey, close your eyes, go within. You already explored the outside." So I end up going within. And when I went within, and for those, when we say within, we just mean close your eyes. Okay. All right. So when I closed my eyes, all of a sudden, I saw all these, like the rainbow right in front of me when my eyes were closed, like bright, like very, very, very bright. Like I can't even describe the light. Like, but it was red, green, all the colors right in front of me. And all of a sudden it started to deteriorate, and it had a sound with it too. So it had that same sound that I had before, but the sound was a lot uh, higher in frequency. Okay, it's the only way I can describe it. And then all of a sudden, just like when you play Mario Kart or Mario Brothers, and for those who played Mario Brothers before the game, okay, I heard, when you die or something, and I heard that, and the whole reality just that the colors, when my eyes were closed at this point, the colors just deteriorating, and all of a sudden, I felt like I was going through the earth itself, like I went through the earth, and now I'm in water. Okay, I mean literally, I'm in water, and I'm sitting in this water in the ocean, and I'm sitting in this water. I'm freak at this point. I'm freaking the hell out. Like, how the hell I got here? And all of a sudden, I heard my higher self said, "Go deeper," you know, and I'm like, "What? Okay, fine. I'm gonna go deeper." And I went in meditation. People will know what that means, right? So as you meditate more, you know how to go deep and how to go deeper than you ever went, right? So this was the deepest point I ever went in meditation. So when I went in, I meditated so deep, all of a sudden, I knew I popped out my body and I'm in space, like literally.
So there are people that are new to meditation. So when you say
Mhm.
go deeper, what does that look like? What does that feel like? What do you mean go deeper?
Right. So what I mean by go deeper is as you close your eyes and of course you bog down. The first time you close your eyes, you bog down with thoughts. Okay, like what I'm gonna do today, what I'm gonna do tomorrow, all that kind of stuff. You're still in like the thought phase, the light phase of meditation. You're not deep at all. But as you start to focus or you have a focal point in your meditation, it can be a thought, it can be light, it can be anything that you can see when your eyes are closed. For me, it's always a light, right? So, but it's never my thoughts because my thoughts go in, I start to dream automatically, I fall asleep and I start dreaming. You feel what I'm saying? So I don't mess with the colors
Mhm.
because the colors represents your thoughts. Am I explaining it pretty good where you understand?
Exactly.
Okay. So when we say go deeper, we mean go beyond we, okay? We mean go beyond your your thoughts. Go beyond the colors, okay? And focus on the frequency because you're gonna start to hear the bell ring. And when you go into meditation and you hear that bell, that sound becomes your focal point. And immerse yourself in that sound because that is the sound of the universe. Remember, I explained that. That is the symphony of the universe. And when you explore that and you go in and you submerge yourself in that sound, it'll take you wherever you need to go. And it'll take you deep within the core of who you are. You understand what I'm saying? All right. So as you start following that sound, just like I did last time, I was on the couch. This time I didn't have to do that for some reason because I think I was under the medicine. I had a lot of DMT in my body. So I didn't have to follow the sound. I was just going places.
Okay.
So like I said, when I got into the sea, I went into the sea, that evaporated, and all of a sudden I was gas in the space, literally. And then I'm in space and I went deeper some more, and all of a sudden I popped out my body. And when I mean I popped out my body, like I'm conscious, I'm awake, I'm not asleep, I'm not dreaming, none of that stuff. But my eyes are so closed that at this point I know I'm in my car, but at the same time I'm in space. You
Mhm.
see what I'm saying? And I'm so into the experience at that point. I'm so curious at this point, like where the hell am I? So what happened was I'm sitting in space and I look around like 360. I'm not dreaming. I have some form of a body. Okay. So I'm looking around and it was total darkness, like just like when you close your eyes. But I start to see like different lights, like instruments, right? Like if I'm in my car, I can see the dashboard and all these type of instruments, right? So I start seeing things like that. So I said, wait a minute here. And I felt like I was in a confined area, right? So I said, wait a minute. Am I in a ship? And I heard a voice say, yeah, you are the ship. And I said, what do you mean I'm this ship? And he was like, you're the spaceship. Okay. So I said, wow, I was pretty shocked. And at that point, we stopped at the first the first constellation. I can't remember. I don't remember what constellation it was, but I know we took a stop. It was still kind of dark, but when I got off on that planet, I saw this big mansion. Right, I couldn't see it with my eyes, but I could sense it. So the REM was different. It wasn't based on like your five senses and how we see things here. It was based on like telepathy and clairvoyance, and it was based on all that stuff. It wasn't based on like how you see with your eyes.
Mhm.
Okay, it's the only way I can explain it. But when I went into the mansion, I was going through these rooms, It was a lot of rooms. And, you know, as you pass, you're curious, right? So I'm walking down the hall and I'm looking, and I looked in the room and I see a rainbow being. That was the first being I ever saw. Rainbow, totally a rainbow body being. Just like, remember I told you, my neighbor came to the car and he was just pure light. This being was pure a rainbow color, all the colors. And it scared the hell out of me. So I got the hell up out of there. And I didn't even wait for it to turn around. I mean, literally, I got the hell up out of there. And I went back on the ship, and the ship took off, but I was starting to get sick physically. So I came back to my body, and I was looking around, was in my car. I usually have like a case of water or something in here. So I grabbed some water, and my higher self said, drink some water, drink some water, drink some water. So I drank some water, and I drank the water, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm still feeling thirsty. So I end up drinking some more water, and I went back and laid back into the seat, and I took back off again, right? I popped right back out my body again, right back where we started. So we was going pretty fast, and I guess just like faster than the speed of light, it was just making me sick. You know what I mean? Like I couldn't take the frequency. It was very high. And then I got up there to, we all of a sudden, we got to like the farthest or the deepest spot, I guess, like right outside the galactic center of our universe, of all of these verses, whatever you want to call it. I don't know how it works completely. But anyways, I was outside of this thing, and I'm on another ship. And on this ship, I'm on a table, like a surgery table. All of a sudden, that's where I'm at. And I look up, and the light's bright, and I'm like, where the hell am I? And I could hear people talking, like a lot of them. And they're talking about me. And it was like, why did he come up here? Well, you know, he done went too far, and blah, 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 blah. And how are we going to repair him and get him back to Earth, right? Or get him back to his timeline, is what they said. And I was like, what are they talking about? I didn't understand. So then they looked down and seen I was awake. And they kind of was like, oh, you're up. It's like, so what have you learned? And I said, well, what I've learned, really nothing, just the experience. I said, it's so much energy, you know, like the frequency is so high. And it was like, yeah, that's why you shouldn't be up here. You came from here to do your job down there. And why are you even coming here? Do you know how much things are working for you to have that experience down there? Like everything, we are all working for you to have that experience. So now we got to repair your spine so you can get back, or we can figure out what timeline you came from. So I didn't understand none of that until I was coming down. So as they were playing with my spine and my central nervous system, I was twitching in the seat, right? Because the mushroom will have that effect. It will try to align your chakras for you naturally, okay? And you will be moving. This is where they get the movie The Exorcist from. It's not a scary movie. It's just what happens. We call it yoga, okay? Yoga, you're contorting to align your chakras, okay? So when you see these scary movies and you see these people bending and twisting and doing all that kind of stuff, or you see these monsters or whatever, all they're trying to show you is that's the Kundalini experience, okay? That's when you out of body and you're trying to get back into the meat suit. That's yoga. That's what yoga is. Yoga is for people who go outside their body and come back in. It's not a routine that you do every day. It's supposed to be done based on ascension, right? Based on you leaving your body and coming back. When you come back in, you got to align with your body, okay? I didn't know these things, right? So when I was coming, all of a sudden I went from where they was on whatever ship or planet or whatever, and they was like, we sending you back down. So I started going down into space, and then I got into our little galaxy, and I was looking down, and I seen like a million different Earths. I'm talking about, as far as the eye can see, it was Earth, but it was a million of them. Billion, I don't even know. It was so many different Earths. And then they was like, now you see what we talking about. And I said, oh. And then he was like, yeah, these are timelines. These are not just Earths. These are timelines in time. Okay. So I was seeing a whole timeline from the beginning all the way to the end. And I didn't know where I was from. I couldn't pick a timeline. And then all of a sudden, they were still playing with my spine from the table. And whatever they did, it keyed me into my timeline. And I said, oh, there you go, there you go. And it was the actual earth. Okay. The actual timeline I was from. So when I came back down, I said, okay, well, I'm going back now. At that point, I done walked in the house, right? I'm back in my body. I'm in my body, out of my body. You got to understand how this works. Okay. So I'm walking now back to the house, right? Because my higher self, at the same time, they're talking to me. My higher self talk to me and tell me, get on some water. I need to get on some water. I need to go in the shower. So I go in the shower, take my clothes off. I'm in the shower, butt naked. I'm in there, and I'm under the water at this point. And that's when I started coming back to my body. Like for real, I was out of my body, inside my body, outside my body, inside of my body. I ain't like how, I just didn't. I was like, man, I just want to be back. You know what I mean? I want to be completely back in my body the way I was. So all of a sudden, I'm in the shower, but this time I'm still going through the process of getting back into my body. And I see this being. I see this earth time. It was a different earth. It wasn't this earth, but it was a different timeline. And I see this being that was, I can only call it a being, that was on the earth at the time. It did in this timeline. And the earth, the sky was purple. Like the sun. The sun was giving off a purple light. And I seen this being, and it was territorial. It looked completely different than anything I ever saw. It had like a hippo body, and it had a tail, and like the face of a lion. It was just different. It was like all kind of animals put into one. And it was very territorial. And I'm looking at it, and I said, what is that? Because I'm from a distance. And it's like I don't know, it was kind of like I was looking at it, and they didn't know I was there looking at it. You know what I'm saying? So I'm watching it, and all of a sudden I start to merge with it, meaning like I start to feel what it feel and think how it thought. It was a being. It was a monster. It wasn't a monster, but it was just a different thing. Okay, like a beast. And what we see there, when I looked into the timeline, the beast was very territorial. I could feel it. Like I never felt like a being, or I'd never seen on Earth, even in my human experience, that was so territorial, sis. I'm talking about, I want you guys to understand this. I can't even put it into human words how territorial this being was. Okay? It was super territorial. Like, I want all the smoke. Anything move, I'm taking it down. Like anything. It was that kind of warrior type spirit. Like just, and they want nothing there for it to fight, you know? So I heard my higher self said, the little still voice that we hear, concerning my higher self, okay? I heard it say, you have to make peace with it. And I said, peace. And they say, yeah, I'm gonna show you the symbol. So doing the process of the symbol, hold on. Let me make sure I can get this thing going here. Doing the process of the symbol, it gave me a symbol to make peace with the being. And I made peace with that. And I remember it telling me, my higher self said, say peace to all, say peace to the ascended master, say peace to everything. Shalom and peace and light and love to everything. May we all be one. You see, and I said all that. And I remember it, the being allowing me to come back to my body, because it seemed like it was in opposition, like it was like governing who comes and goes. You
Bye
feel what
bye.
I'm saying?
Mhm.
Right. So when I got back to my body, my the higher beings that were up there that was repairing my body or repairing my spirit body or whatever they were doing, they were telling me what to do. So they was like, hey, you need to stretch this way, you know what I mean, and move that way. So I started doing yoga in the shower. And I'm not a very flexible dude, you know what I'm saying? Like yoga has never been my thing. Like You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not very flexible, so that's kind of weird, you know. But nevertheless, I was doing yoga in the shower, and I be getting. And then the being said, "Now you see what yoga is. Why it's so sacred. It means to bind, right? You're binding your spirit to your body when you get done traveling. That's what yoga is for." And I said, "Wow, man, I did not know that." You know, and I studied yoga and stuff like that. But I didn't know that's what it meant, or that's what the experience really came from. The ascended masters that already ascended prior to me. Um, so
That's deep.
I did all that. I came off the experience, and I just sat there, man. I got on my couch and I just sat, and it really repaired me. Like the it said, "What did you learn?" And it said, "You got to have more gratitude for life." You know, and I was like, "Wow, what do you mean?" I got gratitude for life, right? And they said, "No, you don't have gratitude for life. And you got to respect the mushrooms. It's sacred. It's a sacred plant. It's a being within its own self, right?" So these things are what transpired. And what I learned during the process was how much everything is coming together for you to have this experience. So popping out your body to become enlightened, you know, is not necessary. You need to live here because that's where you at. Everything is working for your good. Everything here is working for your good. Even when you're going through bad times or hard times or relationship problems, financial problems, none of that could compare to understand that the universe itself, everything in it, all the beings that are ascended, all the extraterrestrials, everything that's out here is working for your good. You understand what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Right. So that's me going a little bit over. I had to bring the receipts so that y'all can understand the power of the medicine. You understand? And we can get back to a point where we understand things that's going on here. We're not demonizing it because they demonized it. You understand what I'm saying? When I told you this same chemical reaction happens in your body, and we call it the Holy Spirit naturally. Okay, dimethyltryptamine. Okay, this is the stuff you see them boys doing in the hood when they drink a lean. That's what's in lean. Dimethyltryptamine is in cough syrup when you get sick. Okay, so where all this stuff coming from, and they don't even know why they doing it. They doing it recreationally, not ceremonially. They don't even know why they're attracted to it because it's your ancestors' medicine. So when we go into the Olmecs, what do we see the Indians doing? Right? Remember I told you the shaman that I met. They were doing what? Mushrooms. And these were the $5 Indians. Right? Okay.
So
They already were doing
the important thing that you said was when you were, well, the very important is to respect the plant, right? Because we do have a lot of people who take it for recreational use and do not give any thanks or any homage to the plant, right? That's
right.
one. Number two, how important, because like you said, with your first experience, you were gonna do it under the guidance of a shaman, right?
Right.
But it didn't
Right.
work out that way. In your
Right.
opinion, for those who are going on this journey for the first time, is that a recommendation?
You know, I always tell people you gotta trust in your higher self. So if you linked in with your higher, if you're not linked in, if you can't meditate, then you have no business taking mushrooms. You understand? Because when you meditate, you are linking in with your higher self. You understand? And your higher self is really protecting you. It's who you really are. You understand, in a higher realm. You feel what I'm saying? So it's like you the you down here is trying to get to know the you up there, right? Through meditation. And as you go through those spaces, it prepares you for the mushroom. Because remember, the mushroom is an additive and it's very, very strong. Like the frequency is high. So yeah, I do recommend that if you're gonna like go through that type of experience, like you do go to a shaman or somebody that's really experienced with it. If you're not a person who meditates a lot, you know what I'm saying? Because I don't have, some people would say, you'll have people who use it recreationally and say they had a bad trip and they seen all these different things. And, like I said, I seen a couple things, but I wasn't hallucinating. You feel like I didn't see something in front of me. I was meditating. So my whole thing is a little bit different in the sense that in the real world, when I was here and I was walking around in the energy, all my awareness was just open. I could see energy, auras, things that's naturally here, the energy that's naturally here. You feel what I'm saying? That's the only thing I was seeing. I wasn't seeing beings and monsters or dumb stuff. When I went and meditated is when I went in and I had the experience with seeing the rainbow beings and different things, and then this beast that I saw. And over time, working with the medicine, it really helped me to understand who I am. You feel what I'm saying? As a human, like in this body. I'm not talking about my higher being or anything. I'm just talking about who I am down here. You understand? So my next experience with the mushrooms took me to the seventh dimension. Okay. That's the highest I've ever been. And in that experience, that being that I met the first time, or the beast that I met the first time, that I became one with, or kind of linked into, or was kind of observing, my spiritual body and how I travel my ship was repaired. So I could travel now. And that being that I saw was my higher self. And you said, well, how do you know that, Nigel? Because my third experience was in the seventh dimension. Okay. All the dimensions are here. Okay. Right here, right now. Okay. Today, right here, right now, right in front of you. Okay. All of them. All these different dimensions are here. They're not somewhere else. Okay. They're right here. So what we're saying is that when I went to how I know I was in the seventh dimension, again, I was on the medicine. I meditated. I popped out of my body, and my higher self was there. The same being, the same beast, but it looks different now. It was more, you had the same frequency, which was like the background of the space, like how we look, like your background now, if you look outside, is the sky. And it might be some trees out there, and it might be all this stuff. The background in the seventh dimension was a rainbow of colors, right? And the frequency, when I say frequency, is what you hear in your ear, right? The sound that I heard was very strong, okay? And when I say about very strong, it will be like, okay? Now think about that sound I just made. I can't even compare. Think about that going
I think your
light
phone
years
did
fast.
it for us too. I wonder if the audio picked that up. Right after you did that, your phone vibrated itself.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's power. So after you can picture that sound that you're hearing from me, just the humming or the vibration that's coming out of my being, okay? On 10, on 20, on 100. Like, I mean, it takes over your very being to the core of who you are, right? And that's how you travel, okay? So it's not an explosion, it's an implosion, okay, of energy or of that sound. It implodes inside of you over and over and over again until you get to where you're going, okay? So I was in the seventh dimension. You said, how do you know that? Because every dimension for those who travel, right? When you're traveling outside of your body to a different universe, different worlds, whatever, how you know what dimension you in is how you see it. Just like when you put on 3D glasses, right? When you put on 3D glasses, you can count the dimensions, meaning that you can count how many times you see that person, right? So the realms are weird in that way. When you put on 3D glasses and they're popping out that screen, if you look right behind, if you go to a movie theater, you put on 3D glasses, you look behind the image that you're looking at and count the dimensions behind it, okay, you'll know what you're looking at. And usually in the movie theater, it's 3D. It's 3 times. 1, 2, 3. You'll see like an outline of 3 bodies. Well, in that dimension, it was 7D, meaning that if I saw a door, I saw it 7 times behind it, poking out. Okay? The being, which is my higher self that I saw it 7 times. You feel what I'm saying? And it's definitely difficult to explain because we're dealing with cosmic shit. You know what I'm saying? We're dealing with space travel. Okay? That's what we're really dealing with. So when I saw this being, it explained that to me. And my higher self, Yahutua. Okay? So as I'm talking to myself, and I'm like, man, you ain't heard me when I was down there? Like, it took a long time to get here. And he was like, well, let me show you why. Look where I'm at. I'm in the 7th dimension. So he said, look back. And when I looked back, I saw 3 doors, right? Now, these 3 doors at the time, I didn't know what it was. It was just 3 doors. I ain't talking about like bedroom doors. I'm talking about like, let me show you what I'm talking about. Okay, hold on. Because I did find the information here. So I'm gonna screen share this real quick. And then we're going to wrap it up. Okay, how much more time I got? I don't want to be too long. Oops.
You can do your thing.
Okay. So right here, I'm going to share my screen because I'm going to show you what I saw. It's very important for the Masons and for those who do travel. This is how we can relate. Okay. So I think I spelled it right. Touch. All right. So right here, I'm gonna pull it up real quick. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, great. So we're gonna go on down. So this right here, oops, whatever that is. I don't wanna. Okay, so this right here, these doors right here, you see them?
Yeah.
These doors are what I saw. But all I saw. I didn't see no pyramid on top, none of that. Just these 3 doors right here. Okay, just like this. But the doors were in 7D and it was light coming out of them, like bright light, like very powerful light. And as I look back, I'm like, and he said, now watch me talk, right? And he said, Nigel, and it vibrated like an echo.
Mm-hmm.
And it went through the middle door. You see that middle door right there?
Mm-hmm.
It went through the middle door. And then I can hear it in my physical being as my inner self. That little still voice I be hearing, I heard it in my inner being. And he was like, I was like, oh, so that's when I really I knew that he was me and I was him. And the voice I was hearing was him the whole time. So he started laughing, right? Very entertaining to him, I guess. Okay. So hold on 1 second. Pull that back up. So come on now. This junk got more pop-ups than anything. I don't even know if this thing going now. Now it's getting stuck.
Yeah.
Okay. They trying to stop us. They're trying to stop us. But we got this. Look, see, another pop-up. Come on now. It is tripping with the pop-ups on this website. I can't even see it now. I guess they want me to log in or whatever. But anyways, we just gonna get out of it. We ain't gonna deal with it. I saw, and when I turned back around and I understood what he was telling me. Okay, I'm back. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. So when I turned back around, and I understood what he was telling me, was he sitting in another dimension trying to communicate with me telepathically through the door. So the door is more like a wormhole, okay? And it's the path of initiation that our ancestors used to take. Okay, so that's what the pyramids will have those three doors. But what I didn't show you is that every cathedral and every building that you see has those three doors to it. And it might be a middle door and two windows that look like a passage door, okay? And you will see it in a lot of cathedrals and a lot of monolithic buildings, okay? Because back then, in the time of our ancestors, okay, the child used to have to go through the rite of initiation or to introduce them to their higher selves, okay, back in the golden age. So when a child gets of age, they need to be introduced to them higher selves. So they need to go through the wormhole. Okay, this is what we're talking about. So that door represents the wormhole into other dimensions because you're traveling and you get to be introduced to your higher self. Funny thing is, when we had the conversation, after that, I said, wow, now I understand how far away you are. And sometimes why I don't hear you like always, because this got to go light years. We talking about quantum technology or quantum communication, which is telepathy. That's what quantum technology or quantum communication is. Okay. So it has to go through all the way to come here. Light years. I'm talking about light years away. He all the way in the seventh dimension. You feel me? So as we begin to talk, I looked at him and I said, bruh, I said, you just look weird, man. I can't get over that. You look like a beast, bro. I can't get over it. And he was like, have you not looked at yourself? And I said, what do you mean? And he said, it's time to go back. And I'll be talking to you from here, but I'm going to take you through a ritual or a ceremony. We need to crack the physical reality to where you understand who you really are. Because you're going to see how funny you look to me. Okay? So I came on back. I'm in my body. I'm doing what they call Chingan. How you say it, sis? It's my accent.
Qigong?
Yeah, Qigong or something like that, or Tai Chi. Like, I don't know none of this stuff. I am just doing it automatically when I come back. I'm doing the motion. I'm doing a moving meditation at this point, and I'm moving the energies around me and in my body. And soon as I got done, I felt the upgrade. I opened my eyes, and when I opened my eyes, everything was like bullshit. Like, what are you scared of? Like fear. Everything was bullshit. You know what I mean? Like, it was just like shit I made up with my mind, or did I really believe in that type of shit? Like, you know what I mean? Just, I'm talking about fear in general. Okay. None. I had absolutely none. So I go and he tells me, my higher self tells me to go to the mirror. And I go in the bathroom, I go in the mirror. I'm still on the medicine. And I go in the mirror And he tells me to look into the mirror. And I look into the mirror and I'm staring into the mirror, looking at myself. And then he tell me, take all your clothes off. So I take all my clothes off and I'm staring into the mirror. He said, keep looking in the mirror. What do you see? And I said, God damn it, I see a beast. And he said, so you telling me that I look like a beast, but you really a beast. But he said, you know what the funny thing is? You're going to laugh at this. He said, you know what the funny thing is? You're a sophisticated beast. You got clothes on.
That part.
That part. So he said, I remember when we didn't have clothes on and you didn't look so funny to me. But being that you walk around here with all this clothes on, we just call you the sophisticated beast. All of y'all. That's how far y'all have went away from who you really are. We can't even walk around naked without it being sexual. See what I'm saying?
Yes, definitely.
We can't even accept how we look naked. Some people got, I'm too fat, I'm too skinny, I need muscles, I need this, because
I mean,
society tell
look,
you that's what you need.
we're in a point in time where women breastfeeding in public is a big deal. You know what I'm saying? Having
Right.
breast out to feed your child, is looked at sexually. So yeah.
Correct. I mean, absolutely crazy, right? So what we're saying here is that what we're absolutely saying is that we came a long way from the truth, and we haven't realized who we truly are, even as humans. You know, we think we treat the dog crazy, we treat the lions crazy, we treat the animals crazy, but yet we mammals as well. You understand? And because we put clothes on, we think we better than everybody. Even the extraterrestrials, we think we better than. But they don't look like us. They look totally different. And you don't need to be scared. You see a dog, I don't see you running from a dog. You understand what I'm saying?
That part. So
Okay. Mm-hmm. Go ahead, sis.
my challenge for you,
Mm-hmm.
um, because there are a lot of interesting perspectives out here, right? So one of them is that there's like 12 actual dimensions. Some say there's 19. Some say there's an infinite amount, you know. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but I also hear, and what's interesting with you getting to the seventh dimension is that I also hear out here on these spiritual streets that the higher you go up in the dimensions, so to speak, the less form there is.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying?
Correct.
So
Yeah.
go ahead.
Go ahead.
What were you gonna say?
I was just gonna answer that and agree with you that this being that was in the seventh dimension with me, which is me, okay, this being is me. And now I've come to terms that it's the future me. It is what humanity will evolve into. Okay. This stuff I just found out the other day. But nevertheless, that particular dimension, this being the being that I saw the first time I was coming to Earth. It had a body. This being that I saw looked the same, but it was built into the mainframe. So this RAM looked like a motherboard, like a computer, like a, if you was to look inside of a computer and watch all the energy move and stuff, that's what this RAM looked like a straight motherboard. And it was built into it. It was a part of it. It didn't have a body like you got a, like me and you got a body, physical body type. It didn't look like that. It was just like built into it. It was really weird. So it kind of weirded me out. That's why I said you look kind of weird, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, freaking me out here. But but it's hard to see there too because you're seeing in 7D. So just like, trying to, how we use our physical eyes to see certain things here. Like I'll be trying to look at you and really look at you with my eyes, but there, you using your eyes to look, it's hard to see because just the way the rim is set up, just the way the dimension is set up, like it's everything is in 7D. So it's like the frequency's high as hell, and you trying to really look at him to get like like I'm trying to really look to see details. No details, nothing. It's just a figure, built into the background. He was built into the realm. I don't know how to describe it, but that's the best way I can with words. Go ahead, sis.
No, I totally get that. So what I would like is for a definition or a synopsis or a decoding of the different realms. You know what I'm saying? First of all, how many are there? And then what the fuck? Because some people, we talk about this, but what the hell is a dimension? What is that? What's the difference between a dimension, a realm, a plane, a time loop, a loop?
Right, right.
So I feel like that's our next show. I
Okay.
feel like that will be the next way to go because you can't open this door and then not tell the people, you
Well, you
know.
got me. You got me working now, don't you?
Yeah.
Uh,
And not
yeah,
tell the
you got
people because this is a very interesting thing and these are questions that people have and it's
right.
hard to find these answers out here these
Okay.
days. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Right. Correct. Correct.
I just want to say that we appreciate your time. And of
Mhm.
course, this was an interesting ride. I was going through space and then the background most of the time, shit, I got lost in the light. I was like, oh shit, it's moving.
Right. Right.
The stars are
Right.
moving.
Stars are moving. You see it. You see it. Right.
So I appreciate that. And
Okay.
send us out with some last words, Nigel.
I just want to, like I said, I want to thank everybody for listening. You take the time to actually sit back and listen, and hopefully, some of this information could give you some inspiration, not only inspiration, but give you some guidance, of how to travel out here safely. You know what I mean? And give you a little bit more understanding of the spiritual journey, more than sitting in a church building and just praying to an unknown God. What we're saying is that the God in you, God is in you. You feel what I'm saying? And that God is who you really are, and it's eternal. It never dies. You never die. The body goes away, but your spirit is here and it's traveling through the cosmos. Okay. And it's traveling through different dimensions. You are eternal being. And this is why I'm explaining these experiences that I had that brought me to the point of understanding, understanding, and overstanding that I'm an eternal being and understanding who I am outside of the stigma of me being Nigel, a chef, a daddy, a father, a citizen in the United States, all that
We ain't
stuff.
no citizens of the United States.
What I'm saying, that's changing, but that's a whole nother story for another time. But I'm just saying for the ones who are, you know, um, your soul will bring you to what you need to be doing here, what your purpose is. And that's what she's talking about. Our purpose is true liberation, truly living in our sovereignty, truly being able to dimensionally travel from one place to one place, being able to have these experiences in other dimensions and understanding that we are multi-dimensional beings. It's a beautiful thing.
It's a beautiful
Yes, sis.
thing. And again, I appreciate you. And this is also for everyone. Because once we get into these subjects, it becomes spooky in the fact that people develop fear. And so we want it spooky in a way that it's awesome and it's entertaining and it's like, yo, this shit can really happen. You know what I'm saying? We want that
Right.
energy. We don't want people in fear, you know.
Right. Correct. And this is what's coming. We are gonna be able to experience that godhood, understanding that what God is us being multidimensional, having experiences on all different realms, being able to manifest things in the physical, being able to bring heaven to earth. That's what it's all about.
Exactly.
Bring those realms down here, bring that piece of heaven down here, bring that idea here, and let it reproduce for you here. Bringing in, ushering in the monarchy, giving the women back their shit, and that's really happening. But look at it this way, right? So right now, and before I go, sis, I want to touch on this because it's very important. Right now, for those who understand the matriarchal reign or age that we're in now, right? Haven't panned out yet, meaning that you don't see all the way around you, right? So it take a certain level of faith, or it take a certain level of belief for certain people to manifest that and bring that here. The energies are present, right? Energies are all around us. The matriarchal energy is coming to the earth and it's here. But in order to manifest it, it have to come through you. You understand? And it takes a certain level of faith, and it takes spiritual, I always call it spiritual cleanliness, our travels. That's what that means. Spiritual cleanliness to be able to see and to bring it here and manifest and really believe in it and stand behind these queens, you men who are spiritual, so that they can get their shit back. Because at the end of the day, that's what it's about. And we're going to have a peace that we never had. We're going to be able to enjoy our people, our experience. All people on the land is at peace. Right now, we got wars everywhere. We got bad food everywhere. The earth ain't producing like it normally would produce. You understand? We got a lot of stuff going on that's on the negative. But when we become spiritual and we find our ancestors over there, and we find out who we are. We are original indigenous people to this land. And I'm from the Caribbean. My tribe is the Caribou tribe. That's where my ancestors come from. The Caribou is linked in with the Olmecs, my ancient ancestors. I would have never known none of this stuff if I never linked up with my higher self. I just thought I was Nigel, human being, all that. But by me knowing this stuff, right, now I'm going to start manifesting the queens on the land. Because how our system was set up, or the ancestor system was set up, was based on a matriarchal system. So now I put myself behind these queens and support them, because I know it's imperative that we get to that point and this energy is coming through so that we can have everything that they stole from us back. But it got to come through the women. So I tell these queens, and I tell these women now, you got to have a sense of discipline about yourself. Don't think that you just call and there's no discipline. Remember why the men or the patriarchy is ruling over you, is because you took advantage of us. So don't take advantage of us no more. We here to serve. We backing y'all. You need some, I got you. We involved in your process and your becoming. We're involved in your becoming. Being, remember we went over that study.
Exactly.
You're becoming, okay? We're involved in that and we're supporting you guys. But we also want y'all to know that you need some form of discipline. That don't mean be wild, buck wild, and doing all this kind of stuff. Discipline is still needed. All right?
So
All
basically,
right, that's all I got.
what it is that Earth is a feminine planet, right? And so
Hmm.
the physical manifestation of that is the woman. And so as
Right,
we put everything back in balance, because this is a dualistic reality and everything has to have balance, right? And so we're breaking a lot of these karmic cycles. You know what I'm saying? And
correct.
some that need a little bit more detail. I could also tie it into soul contracts. Like we think it's very extreme. Someone comes in and rapes and murders, this child, or and that's like mind boggling. But
Right.
who was that child last lifetime? You know what I'm saying? A lot of times when these events like this happen, it's
Hmm.
it's it's because of their karma. You know what
Oh
I'm
wow.
saying? So this lifetime, they have to be on the other end of that, right?
Hmm.
So women were here first, and then we created men. And then we went through a spell where men were servants, they were slaves. They got that bad, right? And then
Right.
so the karma, the back around, then we turned into a patriotic system, right?
Hmm.
And so now as we're coming back into balance, we no longer the souls here are awakening. So we no longer need to have this experience. So we're doing away with these timelines, with these timeline loops, right? And so
Right.
now we want to keep it in balance. You know what I'm saying? The same with the pale people. We can use them for an example, or what people call white or whatever. You know, they were
Mhm.
originally slaves. You
Right.
know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right.
They were slaves.
Right.
And so now we have this turnaround to now where they are the face of power and dominance, you know what I'm saying, as we translate it now. And we're moving out of that paradigm because that is no longer needed. We've outgrown that loop. So now it's time to go into that spiral and out of the loop. Okay. So we're not saying anything that's a theory or this is a belief. This is just how the shit works. Okay. And so what we do with this information is bring awareness to just how things really work, your cosmic laws and your laws on this plane, on this earth, you know. I
Hmm.
just wanted to, you know me, I gotta bring it back to the simplicity, Papa Saturn.
I'm not for to play with you. Thank you, sis. I appreciate that.
You know,
Nah, I appreciate
uh,
you, Queen. You do your thing, and that's a this is a balance of how it should be. You know
exactly.
what I mean? We gotta definitely understand that the queens got it, man. They got it in them. They're able to cultivate and bring the truth completely and clearly. When I could bring the science and all kinds of million different things to confuse you, the queen can make it very plain and give you the same amount of information in 3 minutes. So I appreciate you for that. I appreciate your obedience to yourself, and I appreciate you walking as a queen. And of course, we're gonna continue to back you. So like I said, y'all support the queen, man, and we're gonna move on from there.
All right, peace and love. Love to the gods. Thank y'all for tuning in. Y'all have a beautiful day. Thank you for tuning in and tuning out.
Right.
Love
Peace.
it. Peace to the gods. We'll see y'all soon.